Excuse me. Hey, everybody. What's happening? I'm Tommy. And you are on the lifeboat. What's happening? So this is a show I do every once in a while. We're going to put a different spin on it this time because I think it'll make it more fun. But there are stars and people who are just in the public eye who, on a pretty regular basis, purport to be sober, who, by all accounts, are not, in fact, sober. And there are an unbelievable amount of people that write about this. There are an unbelievable amount of people who make videos about this. And I'm curious. First, Queenie, I'm so happy you're here. I'm glad that you caught me live. And sober 15 years is fantastic stuff. That's amazing, amazing stuff. You know what? That's absolutely worthy, right? That is huge. 15 years is fantastic. It's hard to do better than that. Good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Question. Have you heard of Brandon Novak's story? Nick, I am a huge Brandon Novak fan. Massive Brandon Novak fan. And I am hoping someday to have the ability to interview Brandon Novak. And the funny thing is this: I was never a Brandon Novak fan until Brandon Novak got sober. But his story and his story's raw as hell, and he doesn't care. He comes out, he does it, he talks about it. Prime example right now of that community, that little group. Bam, watching what Bam is doing to himself is one of the most painful things in the whole world for a drug addict to watch. I know a lot of you have in the past reached out to me and talked about watching Bam just sort of, kind of flush his life down the tubes. And it's the sad thing with celebrities. The horrific thing with celebrities is that they generate so much money even when they're a screw up, right? I've never been a celebrity in my life, but I've been a guy that goes on stage and gets paid. And I had bosses that did not care what happened in my life in any way, shape, or form, as long as I could go up and get on stage and do the things that made them money. And that, if that meant, after 9/11, that meant hiring somebody that would smuggle crap on aircraft so that I could bring enough dope to go to whatever city we were going to, because no matter how much I did, I always needed more. And then that meant trying to go get stuff in the city. And that's really the last thing that you want your public speaker out doing, is trying to score, dope in a foreign city, or sometimes even a foreign country. When I was doing some of the stuff that I did that put me around the world. Jennifer, that's the perfect question, isn't it? Isn't it the perfect question? Great question, Jennifer Reed. Who is surrounding them? That is the key. Who is their team? And that's, I find, disturbing as hell when I watch Bam, because Bam's got handlers. I mean, there are people there. There are people in Bam's life that could be doing things to try to help him. And I know that Steve-O's reached out in a big way. Steve-O is another one that, again, I was never a Steve-O fan until after Steve-O got sober. And Steve-O's another one whose honesty about his addiction is fantastic for the community. It really is. It's awesome. What's not is when the general public seems to take a lot of joy in someone who is not really sober. As an example, my brother and I last night watched a little. We did a little Corey Feldman deep dive because somebody had reached out and said to us, "You got to see him at Riot Fest," and this led down a sort of a deep dive. And his former road manager, a very lovely woman whose name escapes me, Johnny Scoville. You remember that lovely woman's name that worked for Corey? Margot Lane. Thank you. Margot Lane. And this, by all accounts, this is a super talented musician, right? This is somebody with chops. This is somebody that has absolutely, like, legitimately played with fantastic musicians on stage, like, has played with Elton John, right? But saw this as a golden opportunity because it was a chance for an entire tour, and the ability to hire talent and do all of these things. And her story is compelling as hell. I struggle. I really have a hard time not believing this Margot Lane. She's just a very, very, very compelling story. Very, very hard to disbelieve. And she said, this, not only is he doing dope, but he's doing all kinds of dope, right? This is and it was very prevalent on his tour. I just started doing some deep dives, and there are some clips of film in the last 20 years that absolutely look like he's wasted. But you know what? Who cares? I mean, honestly, I don't think he's been sober either. I really don't. I don't think he's been sober at all. I think that the guy uses. I think he's been using the entire time. That's my personal opinion. But I don't take any joy in that, right? And if the guy wants to come out and lie to the world, I mean, that is what we do, right? When we're in active addiction, nobody is honest and just forthright and happy about, hey, yeah, no, I'm addicted, screw you, I'm addicted, I dig it. I mean, those kind of things don't happen much anymore. I was sober 4 years, then lost it. Now almost 15 years. Good for you. Coming back from a relapse after 4 is tough. It really is. But God bless you. Which means really that you got 20 years of clean time. Good for you. This boat loves you, Nick. No question. This boat loves you. Great dude. Really, really great dude. Then there's a different category of musician or celebrity in general. I'm thinking musician because Billy Joel in his biography he talked about addiction, and by all accounts, I mean, the guy had several DWI crashes. He had some other issues that were that weren't great. And it was becoming obvious. They were joking about it on Saturday Night Live that you didn't want to get in a car with the guy. And there were some tour dates that were canceled when he was working with Elton John. Elton John was very, very vocal about the fact that Billy was still drinking, and drinking pretty hard. And Billy Joel's response has always been, you know what? There are times I drink hard, and then I stop and I don't drink again for a long time. And he is a person who is prone to drinking too much, but he is not an alcoholic. And that is what he says. And I'm not the guy to question him, right? I honestly, do I think those people exist? Of course they do. Do I think some of them are alcoholics that mask their entire life because they just cannot come to grips with the fact that they're alcoholics? I think that's a reality. He had tried to take his life early on, which is a part of his history as well. But in all of these people's cases, I lied to everybody when I was still using it. People asked me if I was clean. I said yes. And every time I got back out of prison, or every time I got back out of a rehab, or anytime I got back out of anything, right? Even if it was just me cold turkeying it at the house, I started doing dope again. I didn't call everybody. Yeah, I'm back on it. Sorry. You know who I am. It is what I am. No, I mean, that's not. I lied to them. I said, no, I'm sober. I'm not using. I told you I wasn't going to be using. I'm not using, and then I avoided them like the plague. Danny Monteducci is another one that a lot of people speculate. There's all of these people, but it's very interesting because it's part of the disease to lie. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I believe that that's the truth. That is part of the disease, and not just to lie, but to deny. Right? It's a special type of lie, isn't it? It's denial, and it's, I think, for a lot of people, like in the case of Billy Joel, I don't know if the man is addicted, but if he is, he most assuredly gives you the textbook. I mean, right out of the textbook, answers of how to deny having a drug problem. Yeah, Quiet Girl says, my mom always asked, are you drinking? I would lie, drinking a fifth a day. That's what we do, right? That is what we do, isn't it? It's what we do. And I don't think that we can hate addicts for it. And I don't think as people in recovery that we should take a much joy in it. I honestly, people, I have a pretty good time picking on Corey Feldman, but it's because of the guy. No, it's not because of that. It's because of if you do a deep dive on Corey, I think the way that Corey Feldman was treating the people that worked for him was abysmal, abysmal. And it's one of those things that when you hear, you think there's no way this can be true. But the more you research it, the more you tend to see that it absolutely is. Are you all right? Is everything cool? Because I'm live, but if you need me, I'll bail. Okay. All right. Just stay on the line. What the hell is that? Stay on the line. All right. Just stay on the line. Hey, everybody. It is what it is. This is the lifeboat, and I got 5 people. Like everybody's got 5 people, and this is the most important of all of them because this person happens to be in my family. So there's a lot more of this I really would have loved to talk to you about, but this is what I do. So we will see all of you at 5 o'clock tonight, and maybe I'll bring this subject back up because I certainly wasn't done talking about it. But I love you all. I really do. I appreciate you. No cat, no basket. Gotta go. Bye bye.